So much exposition telling us what's wrong. So much exposition. What the hell is going on? Oh, I'm a big baby. Gilgamesh kicks some ass. Kumail done got jacked up for that Marvel cash. When you see some things that you don't understand, don't you suffer? Exposition is the way. Exposition now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Keystone Film Review.
I think I just burned so many calories.
We just saw the Expositionals, Eternals, Marvel's Eternals, starring Angelina Jolie. We done did it again.
Don Lee.
Don Lee, also known by his real Korean name, Ma Dong-seok.
Gemma Chan.
Yep, Barry Keoghan's in there, Laura Ridloff. Leah McHugh, Kumail Nanjiani, Kit Harington. Everyone's in it. I'm in it. Glenn's in it. You're in it. Directed by Chloe Zhao, of course, the Oscar-winning director. And turn that off. There's a lot of exposition in it.
Yeah, there's so much exposition.
So much exposition.
But let's get to we did a trailer reaction for this a while ago,
yes.
And in that I explained that at this point I don't know what the fuck is going on in Marvel.
Yeah.
This is all new ground for me. I'm just a little boy who's just so afraid. There's so much information to come my way.
I'm a scared little boy.
So yeah, this is a whole new experience for me specifically. Obviously for Mike as well. Consider he's not as much of a Marvel boy.
Yes.
As I once was.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a lot going on here and a lot to take from it. Especially that first hour and a half of just meeting all the characters and just
exposition
puking words at each other.
Yeah. Story. We're here to protect the humans.
Yeah, there's a lot to take from it as far as learning goes, and it became quite a rough time through that.
Yes.
I'm just glad I took a nap before this. Otherwise, I would have been dead.
I did not take a nap before this.
6 feet deep.
Kind of wish I took a nap before this, but I'm fine. Exposition aside, I will say one positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not as bad as Black Widow, in my opinion. There's a lot of exposition. The dialogue is atrocious at times and just dumping information on you that is kind of implied to begin with. Like it's either not needed or implied, or it's literally something where, for instance, they get ambushed. I know what an ambush is. Glenn knows what an ambush is. I'm assuming you know what an ambush is.
I at least know now what an ambush is.
And if this happened right when it happened,
yeah.
I'd understand. But good 2 minutes into the fight, Kumail Nanjiani goes, "It's an ambush!" Yeah.
You're right.
You're right, it is an ambush. Just in case us little children watching did not know. But there was enough interesting there to keep me focused and watching it.
Especially once the characters all got gathered together.
Yes. It was real bad when they were separate. When they were separate and they was just kind of like going through what their backstories. It was essentially like watching Batman's mother get killed 1,000 times in one movie.
Mm-hmm.
Martha!
And father.
Because it's not the same thing that happens every time, but it's just like, oh, we're part of the humans now.
Mm-hmm.
And we have lives.
You've been living among the humans, and you're not a human. Tell me all about what you've been doing and why you should feel the way you feel.
Yes.
Oh, you don't want to do that. Oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. talking. I will say the cinematography was probably, besides a few of the actors and their like performances and characters, I think the cinematography was probably the best part for me.
Yes.
As far as that goes.
Yeah.
Because like the whole hour and a half, the first beginning hour and a half, I think that was what was holding on to me the most, is just the visuals and what was going on. Other than that, I was bored out of my mind and just laughing at all the stupid shit that people were saying and how jumpy it was place to place and time to time.
Yeah, it did jump all over the place.
Because these people are over 1,000 or 7,000 years old, if I remember correctly, even older than that.
Yeah.
And they're just jumping from all over AD, BCs, LMNOPs, all over the place. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, where the fuck are we going next? And I'm in for this ride.
Alaska!
I got so many plane tickets, I'm ready.
Yeah.
It is very, very jumpy, but luckily the visuals are luckily enough of the good parts. Sentence, grammar, vocabulary, words. It's good.
The movie?
Cinematography.
Oh, the cinematography is good. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't really have any.
It's hard to keep talking about this movie without going into more spoiler stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
My favorite parts of this were definitely Don Lee, also known as Gilgamesh, and Ma Dong-seok. Also Kumail Nanjiani, and his valet, who I will find his name.
He was in Run Fat Boy Run.
Harish Patel.
Yes.
He is a pretty well-known comedian in England, I believe, in England at least. I could be wrong, but I've seen him in a few things, and he was easily my favorite part, along with Kumail Nanjiani and Gilgamesh. Ma Dong-seok. I'm probably butchering that pronunciation, but their kind of comedic adding to it really helped. And my biggest problem with this is that the entire time they're talking about how Icarus is stronger than everyone, but then he gets his ass easily kicked by one person a few times. Like,
power levels in this are very weird.
Yeah, like,
he's basically Superman, but not nearly as strong, not as many powers, but still strong enough to do things, but also not do them at the same time for plot reasons.
Because Marvel. But it was a fine movie. The length is an issue, mainly because of all the exposition. They really could have saved quality and time by cutting out that exposition. It probably would have been under 2 hours if they cut at least the unnecessary exposition.
Honestly,
I know some of it's necessary.
I think this probably would have worked better as a show, honestly, in my opinion.
Yes. And I don't like shows because I don't think any story is worth more than 6 hours. There's like limited series, I'm all for, but like continuous shows, no thank you.
Definitely limited series for sure. I don't know about 13 episodes or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this definitely would have catered a little bit better to having a whole like show like that, for sure. Because there's just so much information that they're throwing out. There's so much you're learning about celestials and gods and everything like that, and immortals and deviants, and it's a lot to take in.
It would have made a better format, like for a show, than WandaVision, in my opinion. And I liked WandaVision, but a lot of it was not necessary.
Yeah.
It was definitely filled with stuff, and I feel like there's a lot here that could have filled, was WandaVision 6 episodes?
I think so.
6 episodes or whatever, without feeling like it's stretching, whereas WandaVision definitely stretched things. And again, I liked WandaVision, but you could have made that a 2.5 hour really solid, tight movie. Whereas this, I feel like, did need more, and I don't like long things.
Because this is what, a 2.5 hour movie?
2 hours, 37 minutes.
It definitely could have done a little bit with more time, but not in a movie.
Yeah.
Just definitely episodes. Maybe like an episode or two where you're meeting all the characters and yada yada. And then so on. And then you finally get into it, the last 3 or something like that. Definitely would have been a better format. I understand why they probably didn't do that. I know, I don't remember the name of the show, but I think they tried to do a Marvel show and it just didn't take off at all. It actually did.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, it was called like Immortals or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think they even tried to like put an episode in IMAX.
They did. I was working at the theater when that happened.
I can't
and
remember.
No one came to it.
Can't remember the name of it. But I think it would have been better if they tried that now, like with this, because obviously WandaVision's took off, Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier took off, and I feel like there's another one in there. Loki took off. That's right.
I've only seen WandaVision.
And then of course you got Hawkeye coming up as well. So the shows are taking off for sure, and I think this would have done better if it was one as well.
Yeah.
But you know, it did get better in the second half, I will say.
The second half was a lot better. When essentially pretty much once they met Barry Keoghan's character in present day, that's when it really took off.
It's because they stopped going time traveling. Well, not time traveling, but...
They didn't stop, but they cut back on it.
Yeah.
So it really just kind of...
Yeah, they slowed down, and it became a little bit easier to digest.
Yeah.
And not so much information throwing at you. And you could kind of breathe a little bit. It was nice.
Yeah.
But
I enjoyed the action sequences in this. For some reason, the Deviants? The Deviants reminded me of the robots that the Power Rangers drove. I don't know why.
The Megazords or whatever they're called?
The Megazord's the big one. Are they just called Zords?
I don't know.
But anyway, the individual little things that then become connected to do the Deviants don't do that. But their design reminded me of like Jason's. I believe he has a T-Rex, so it's not the T-Rex. Tommy's wolf.
This did remind me of Power Rangers.
Yes, it really did feel like Power
not
Rangers.
just
To the point where they're even wearing different color suits.
Yeah.
You got the Black Ranger played by Barry Keoghan. You got the Red Ranger played. God, what's her name?
The deaf girl.
Yeah, I didn't want to call her that. I didn't want to pare her down to just.
I just don't remember
How dare
the really fast girl who can't hear well.
There you go. Lauren Ridloff. Yeah. Should we get into spoilers?
I would like to jump.
Let's jump into spoilers. Kumail Nanjiani just fucks off for the second part of the movie.
My man gets jacked in the final battle.
He didn't eat carbs or sugar for a year.
Cheerio.
And then when the final battle happened, he was just like, I'm going to go make some Bollywood movies. I just thought that was funny. And yeah, the biggest waste here, and we talked about this, Bill Skarsgård is like the deviant once he takes...
Did you look up to see if he is the deviant?
We're just assuming.
While we're talking about that, the head deviant is... it reminded me a lot. I know you haven't watched it, but it reminded me of Dragon Ball Z.
I've watched some of it.
Any of you nerds out there, you weebs like me, who know who Cell is, where he goes and takes the characters in the show and just sucks them dry and takes their powers. That's exactly what this homie was Cell. He was running around talking shit after he sucked him up and said, "I've got your power."
Yep.
I'm perfect, like Cell.
Oh shit!
Yes.
Zayn Al-Rafia, who is in the most depressing but really good movie, Coppernom. I thought I recognized that kid. He was the kid in the beginning.
Oh.
You gotta watch Coppernom if you want to make yourself depressed forever.
I would love to.
Anyway, yes. So he is like that. He's still not on IMDb. I'm assuming that's because it's a kind of a spoiler. They want people to not realize that the deviant becomes sentient, and I mean, I guess they're sentient before, but he's like he can speak.
Yeah.
And
he just learns English.
Yeah, he sucks up the English.
After sucking up our favorite character.
And
I'm a big baby.
Honestly, like, I really enjoyed his character, but how his character ends, such a waste. They could have really used him in, like, another Eternals movie. It was just an interesting character.
The Deviant? The Deviant?
Yeah.
Well, what they could have done is homie was trying to fight the Eternals the whole time. Why didn't he fight evil Superman?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like the Eternals, find out that they're actually the bad guys and that they're there to.
Are we the baddies?
Are we the Hans? Are we the bad? Have you seen that?
I've seen that skit
Okay.
multiple times.
Yeah, that's a great skit. Anyway, so they find out they're the bad guys, and then the deviant is able to talk to them, and it's just like, you guys thought you were heroes. You're really massacring us or whatever.
You're murderers.
That would have been really interesting if they were just like, hey, dude, we agree with you. Our bad.
Yeah.
This guy's trying to do things.
Can you help us fuck this dude
Can you
up?
help us fuck this dude up?
This guy's got spicy eyes and he won't stop pointing them
the
at us.
spiciest eyes. He got taco sauce in his eyes, which is really painful.
Yeah,
I don't recommend
Don't feel
it.
good.
Oh, that was a bad Tuesday. They could have done that, and then he could have, become an ally or something. I don't know if the comic books do that. Honestly, I don't give a shit, because if the comic books do what they did in that, it's okay, but it could have been better. I really think his character was underutilized. I really liked how, even though he was angry, he was kind of calm in his delivery of all his dialogue. So it was an interesting character in that standpoint, but it definitely was too short in the time, and then just got cut up like some, I don't know what he cut up, sushi, eggs.
Is this a weird thing that bothered me? Is that most of the characters are named after like Greek characters, and then like in it they like
have Irish accents.
They have Irish accents. Well, that didn't bother me, but they're all like
that bothered me.
Almost Greek characters, and then later they're like, oh yeah, Sprite made up those stories, like Icarus. Well, Icarus is Icarus.
Can you guess how his story arc ends? I bet you can.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Icarus is Icarus. Hephaestus is in there, except for they drop like the part, so it's just Festus, I think.
Who is Festus?
I don't remember his name.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Thank you. Yeah, he. What was his name? Yeah, I think. What was it? Festus? Does it say what it was? Angelina Jolie.
Festus, yeah.
Festus, and
with
then
Thena.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie was Thena. Like, they've got so many characters, and in it, at some point they're like, yeah, Sprite just made up that story about Icarus and yada yada. So
yeah,
and then Thena is literally the goddess of war, which is just Athena.
Athena.
That kind of bothered me a little bit, and I'm sure that's obviously a thing with the comics. And I know. Hold on! Don't attack me! Calm down! I'm just saying it. I don't know. It was just weird, you know. Just,
it was distracting. I get what you're saying. It was distracting.
And then it kind of like takes like the human element out of those stories, is that humans made up those stories. So now some god just made up those stories.
I think it would have been a better thing if you found out that humans made up the stories based on the Eternals. Yeah. That would have been better than just some little bratty Eternal.
Yeah, they didn't say that. They said Sprite made up at least the story about Icarus, I'm pretty sure they just said.
Yeah. He flew too close.
Yeah, he just flew too close. I kind of liked the evil Superman thing, but at the same time, it's kind of just like, oh, this is not evil Superman.
This is Justice League.
This is Marvel Superman.
Yes.
He's not as cool.
And they reference Superman.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was weird. I don't know the hierarchy or whatever of Marvel and DC. Maybe it's a lot like Coke and Pepsi, where they let each other use their brands in their commercials. But that was distracting. There was a lot of it in it that was
like
just
distracting. They can mention it. I just don't think they can use them.
Yeah.
Or at least they can get permission to say. Well, I don't know. What other spoilers do we really need to get into?
Gilgamesh dies. I kind of just checked out at that point. Yeah, especially once Kumail Nanjiani was like, I'm going to go make Bollywood movies.
Remember when we were talking about somebody being a simp in the last review? I don't remember who. But, it was
Last Night in Soho. It was Michael Ajao.
Kit Harington is such a simp in this one, too. It's insane.
So insane.
And then, I mean, now we find out that he's going to be a character. I'm pretty sure he's going to be the Black Knight. I don't know who exactly that is, so
he's gonna get all his legs cut off.
This is all really new to me, so
yeah.
I've got no idea.
He's gonna get his legs and arms cut off and say,
then
"I'll bite your legs off."
And then, of course, we've got Harry Styles in there, who's also a character I don't fucking
And
know.
Patton Oswalt.
And Patton Oswalt.
I'm pretty sure that was Patton Oswalt.
It sounded like him.
It sounded a lot like. If that's not Patton Oswalt, I will be very disappointed.
Yeah, just had a little deeper vocal to it.
A little deeper vocal, but
reverb.
that's easy. You can do that in post, like super easy. And yeah, I overall enjoyed this movie. There's a lot of problems with it. There's some things that are laughable and kind of feel like a soap opera. But
it really felt like a soap opera. I did want to mention that too. It felt like a soap opera so bad, especially that first half.
Yeah, the first half. If the first half
space opera
kept happening and went into the second half, this would have been a really bad movie. But it got a lot better. It has a lot of really cool imagery. Within it, the use, especially if you see it in IMAX, the use of the IMAX format was used in really good spots. It was kind of weird in the beginning because like in the middle of battle scenes, it would just go like but, whereas like normally it's just for battle scenes, it's just the big format, and then the dialogue scenes are smaller. But I digress. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say. It's a fine movie. I'm between a 2.5 and a 3 for this.
I am as well, but I think I know which one I'm hitting.
I think I'm gonna tip it towards a 3 because I am intrigued for another one, especially now that the exposition dump is out of the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully the next one doesn't have as much exposition. But it did really turn itself around towards the end. We still kind of roasted it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But,
that goes without saying.
But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
I'm gonna do the same. 3 for me as well. I think it was funny enough and had a fun enough time, and the cinematography was great. And we just had fun roasting it.
I did.
And
I wrote really bad lyrics to Superstition because of it. So that was fun.
It became a time.
Yeah.
You know what's gonna drive me crazy though? With how far this Marvel universe, and again, don't attack me, I'm sorry, please. With how far this Marvel universe is going, it's gonna be fucking insane to think about, these Marvel characters like good old Tom Holland Spider-Man going against a fucking Celestial.
He's fucking dying. He's gonna die.
If
Tom
Eternals.
Holland Spider-Man goes against a Celestial and doesn't die, I am done. That is the beginning of my villain origin story.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to rid myself of all my earthly belongings and just turn into an evil being.
Yeah.
If Tom Holland can defeat a Celestial without dying. No.
Power to you, Tom Holland. Good luck. Until next time.
Oh, I'm a big baby!
Scratching my big balls.
Camille done got jacked up
For that Marvel cash.
cash.